Okay, let's get the disclaimer out of the way. Knives are not toys. They are tools and can be dangerous if mishandled. Never treat a knife as anything but a potential threat that you need to respect at every point. With that out of the way, what do you get when you want a medieval dagger but can only afford a pocket knife? You get this. It looks like a switchblade but isn't. The shape of the bottom of the blade, that's what helps it open. Furthermore, I think it's Russian. I'll show you what I mean. This is the HOKC something in Russian dragon folding knife. And it looks more like a dagger than a knife. But as you can see, there are no springs other than the one holding the knife in place. So this technically doesn't qualify as a switchblade. So, yeah. I'm just kidding. Switchblades are actually getting a lot more respect these days because they're not associated with hoodlums anymore, mostly. This thing is rather large. That's why it qualifies as a dagger rather than a knife. Although technically it is a knife because this side is blunt and rather thick, while this side is sharp. And as you can see from the writing, it must have come from Russia. So that's interesting. The handle scales are this hard, I'm guessing sort of plastic with spots for your thumb and forefinger right here that are kind of smooth, but this part is rather rough, and I may have to take a file to it because handling it for long periods would probably get uncomfortable. You can attach it to your belt with this clip, or you can attach a carabiner, I think they're called, and clip it to your belt that way. Basically, this is meant to be semi-practical, mostly for show. It feels solid. The blade doesn't wobble in the socket, and the little leaf spring that holds it in place is fairly strong. You can close it with one hand, and as long as you open it with a bit of authority, like so, it opens pretty easily. You can tighten or loosen this little screw here to make it easier, although it does cause it to wobble slightly if unscrewed too far. This was fairly inexpensive, but I think it's worth it. I got it off Amazon, and honestly, it feels like something I could carry with me for practical purposes if I went camping more often. But since I usually just go between home and work, I think I'll stick with my pocket knife. But if you do like serious outdoor work, this wouldn't be the worst choice in place of like a fixed blade. But if you're carrying this around, make sure it's legal in your state. Always follow the rules, especially when it comes to things that can potentially end a person. This is Mr. J signing out and reminding you, weapons may be dangerous, but they're also really cool. So as long as you remember to follow the rules, Firearms and blades aren't the worst hobby to invest money in. Unless you find a really, really good Lego Star Wars model. Cheers, folks.